This is a summary of Luo Guanzhong's The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. This will be covering over the chapters of 31 all the way to 60, and we have an updated color palette now, so let's get this started with. Last time we left off, it was basically a hellhole. The three brothers finally got to be reunited, but now they have to fight Cao Cao, and the only good thing that they have here is that they have an ally, and that ally being their neighbors on the right of them. Well, at least close to the right of them. The Shu Han dynasty still doesn't exist here anyway. What happens first is that our meticulous Cao Cao goes ahead and starts fighting Xuande, aka Liu Bei, but we are just going to call him Xuande because the book calls him Xuande for the rest of this video. Cao Cao goes ahead and defeats Yuan Shao in his battle. And Yuan Shao, because remember last time Yuan Shao he runs out of food and is defeated, so Cao Cao goes ahead and defeats Yuan Shao, and Xuande is in very, very big despair, and he is finding a lot of refuge. He finds refuge with his pal Liu Bei. Well, Yuan Shao goes ahead and proceeds to die, and Yuan Shang struggles to take Jizhou. This is a very important city, and this will become a very, very disputed city in the future, too. Cao Cao then decides that he will be able to flood the river so that he can take his ships, go down from the north, and then take them all, because a flooded river means water, and water means boats, and so on and so on. At this point, Cao Cao's son, Cao Pi, he decides to seize this moment to find a wife, and then he finds his wife, then Yuan Tan is killed. You can see why this is called the romance, right? The romance of the Three Kingdoms. Speaking of which, Cao Pi's brother's mother, Lady Cai, she goes ahead and eavesdrops on a secret between Cao Cao and his advisors, and other people too, and then realizes Xuande is a threat that must be neutralized. And so she decides to go ahead and invite Xuande to this banquet, and then assassinate him there. Unfortunately for her, Xuande has already went ahead and been notified about this plot, and leaps on his trusty horse, and proceeds to gallop all the way, miraculously, across a river. And when they get there, they're like, there's no way he could have crossed that river, right? No way, right? Right? But he did, and this is a miracle, and that horse has become a very, very famous person. Then very, very famous entity. Xuande then goes ahead and meets a hermit in the mountains where he needs some advice, and he goes ahead and gets along with his three brothers. They go ahead, they get there, and Xuande encounters a hermit who starts to go ahead and go under his military advisory. Xuande then goes ahead and starts to search for a master where he can go ahead and branch out his campaigns from, and so on and so on. He even plots to go ahead and take the city of Fancheng, but then Shishu, who is basically a person who is the hermit that Xuande has met and became his military advisor, reads this fake letter, and then he uses that to leave, and he has to go to Cao Cao. But he goes ahead and recommends a very, very talented military advisor for Xuande. No, before he leaves, he goes ahead and suggests the genius Kong Ming to Xuande. Now, it's at this point that Xuande goes ahead and decides to go meet this Kong Ming, and then on the way he meets this guy named let me just write this, Sima Hui. Now, Sima Hui himself is also a very talented person, and he even recommends Kong Ming too, saying that he is even better than him, or even Shishu. Xuande tries to go ahead and see him 3 times with his brothers, and you know how well that ends up? Not well. You know why? Because of this. The first time, Kong Ming was not at home, and so his messengers went ahead and told Xuande that they would go ahead and send a message to Kong Ming. Kong Ming, the second time, went ahead and was still not there, and then the third time he was there, but he was sleeping. So Xuande and his 3 brothers were all like, "Yeah, his brothers were all like, this is ridiculous. We're just here to see a hermit. What does hermits know about military grand strategies?" But like Xuande shuts them all up, and then when Kong Ming finally emerges, he's like half Xuande's age, but he's just as smart. I'm gonna change to a lighter kind of blue to make sure that they're younger. He goes ahead and greets Xuande with all due honesty. He goes ahead and reveals the secret of the 3 kingdoms. He goes ahead and reveals the creation of these 3 kingdoms and how these people will go ahead and be splintered apart. he goes ahead and gives advice to Xuande on how to create these 3 kingdoms and kick them into motion, and how to conquer each kingdom one by one. That goes out pretty well. The brothers go ahead and root for Kong Ming's defeat, but Xuande is like, I trust in you, my man. I beg you to join me. Kong Ming goes ahead and initially refuses, but then after a lot of begging from our Xuande, he finally relents. Afterwards, Kong Ming would go ahead and become very, very close friends with Xuande, embarking on this journey of recreating and reunifying the Han Dynasty. So what is the first thing that they do? This. He goes ahead and advises Xuande on how to get through stuff. He would have to go ahead and conquer through a bunch of other territories that he was very, very friendly with currently. Now Xuande goes ahead and criticizes this because the 2 of the said territories that Kong Ming has told him that he needs to conquer were also from Han descendancy, and technically this, like, attacking and conquering their territories would be a terrible idea, and he could not have the honor to do it. Kong Ming then goes ahead and tells him that there is no reason to fight them because one of them will be willing to go ahead and ally himself with him, because he knows Liu Bei, aka Xuande, is a very worthy man, and the other guy is not ambitious at all, and knowing that you are of Han descendancy too will also help you with your ambitions. So no worries there. And so Kong Ming finally is convinced by all this, and then Kong Ming proceeds to get Xuande convinced by all this, and then proceeds to do his very, very first battle. What happens in the meantime here? Well, Lady Chai, let's go back to Lady Chai. Lady Chai is all the way over here, and she's all like, okay, she plots to go ahead and hand Jingzhou that she just recently got back to Cao Cao. Now Cao Cao goes ahead and realizes that this is a very good opportunity, and then he lets Lady Chai and her son live, but then they're all like, hey, but we only got this governorship. I give you this big land, and you give me back a very low level kind of governorship. And she obviously is very pissed by this, and this does not go well with Cao Cao. Cao Cao's effective response with this is, okay, you don't like your governorship, I'm going to kill you, and he proceeds to behead them and then kill them. Albeit beheading is the same thing as killing, so what am I saying here? So Cao Cao now has Jingzhou, and he's able to go ahead and get through everything that he ever wanted. Now he just has to invade the south, conquer them all, and reunite the Han Dynasty. Cao Cao obviously has a full grand expansion and invasion plan for the south. And so what does Kong Ming do? Basically, he does nothing at the start, but then he goes ahead and starts realizing a bunch of other strategies. Kong Ming starts to show his military prowess and genius in these several battles. One thing I'm going to say is that he goes ahead and does his first battle at Bo Wang, and obviously the brothers go ahead and root that he fails in this military expedition, because he won't even be near any of the fighting. He won't destroy anybody. He won't do any of this plan himself. But what he will do is be the one that coordinates the plan, tells them what to do and when to do it and stuff like that. And they're all rooting for him, like Gui Yu and Fei is all like, Zhang Fei is all like, hey, Kong Ming, get defeated. We don't want you. And then he goes ahead and proceeds to win the battle, and this goes ahead and wins Kong Ming, the 3 brothers, over to Kong Ming's side. Lady Cai, afterwards, after this stuff, and after the death of her from the assassination and the murder from Cao Cao, Xuande then goes ahead and leads his people to an exodus. Now, what do I mean by that? Xuande obviously realizes that his current city location is not good, and he gets a bunch of followers, who then gets a bunch of other followers, and who gets a bunch of other followers too, and so on, to follow Xuande in his exodus towards other cities. So he proceeds to go to other cities with this pilgrimage of people, and then one of the city gates are all like, but you enemy of Cao Cao, if we let you in, Cao Cao attack us and he will not spare us, so no entry for you. Yeah, one of the some random stranger who is never known and has never mentioned in history either, and is only mentioned in this book here, goes ahead and says, this guy Xuande is an honorable man, and I will go ahead and personally let him inside the city. He fights his way inside the city, flings open the gates, and chaos ensues, and Xuande is like, yeah, this guy just made things worse. I don't think the city's going to work out. Any of you willing to walk another several hundred miles? And they all say yes. Surprise, surprise. So they go ahead and go on another exodus and finally get to another place. Kong Ming then debates with the advisors of Wu. This is the place where Sun Quan is leading. And Sun Quan himself, his military advisor, invited Kong Ming to come debate with them. I say debate because this is mostly This is mostly trolling from Kong Ming's side. And Kong Ming proceeds to go ahead and get them all down. Get them all down in the debate, giving them all the reasons why they should attack Wei, and so on and so on. There's a bunch of other stuff too, where Kong Ming does a lot of other feats, such as being challenged by Wu to get 1,000 arrows. He proceeds to be able to do this. Zhou Yu goes ahead and asks him to get 1,000 arrows, and he proceeds to steal them from the enemy too, borrows these enemies. This goes ahead and trolls Zhong Yu a lot. Cao Cao then holds a banquet on the river, sings a song just right before the attack. Kong Ming starts doing this deception of, hey, so I need someone to flog from his own men. And then this guy says, okay, I'll get flogged. I'm going to betray you guys to Cao Cao. And then he gets flogged really hard. They realize that Cao Cao's spies are inside the camp too. And then they're deserters. Cao Cao then gets along the way and accepts the deserter in, who goes ahead and proceeds with the other parts of the plan. Along with other members that get into this deception of this plan, they go ahead and convince Cao Cao to steady his rocky ships by chaining all of them together with wooden boards, making them basically one giant ship. Kong Ming then predicts that Cao Cao will and then this is where the battle at the Red Cliffs happen. And then Kong Ming and Zhou Yu both decide that fire is the way to defeat Cao Cao. Now at the Battle of Red Cliffs, on this historic river, Cao Cao goes ahead and sails down on his linked ships, as he's had a drunken night the night before the battle, because he just destroyed, aka murdered, one of his own officers. And the betrayers themselves claim that they will go ahead and bring some supplies with them too. And so Cao Cao is eagerly waiting for this. But then what he doesn't expect, though, is that this supply ship is actually full of flammable reeds. And what you get from flammable reeds is that they all bump into the ship before they could even shoot them, and it burns under fire. Cao Cao manages to escape somehow, and when he goes ahead and confronts Guan Yu at like an ambush site, he's all like, please let me go, I need to live, I also showed you kindness, remember? And he's all like, yeah, sure, I'll let you, sure. And Cao Cao is able to live and fight another day. Kong Ming then does a bunch of his other marvelous stuff. He goes ahead and captures a city. He goes ahead and gets Zhou Yu wounded, and then he trolls Zhou Yu a lot by telling him about stuff and taking advantage of his wound by saying, okay, you weaken the enemy force, but you're also too weak to continue. All right, I'll jump in and take the cities for you. Zhou Yu is obviously very, very, very mad about this. Then he goes ahead and gets to use Zhou Yu as another punching bag again. Once again, he trolls Zhou Yu one more time. This is the second time he does this. And then the last time he trolled stuff was this. There was this plot where Sun Chen will go ahead and try to kill Xuande by getting his sister to marry Xuande. But this was supposed to be a plot where he would just come for a marriage and get assassinated. But then Xuande and Kong Ming go ahead and realize that this is a trap, or at least Kong Ming realizes it's a trap, and proceeds to spread the rumors of this all around this. It says, oh, Xuande and your lower sister are marrying now. Yay, come for the celebrations. And obviously at this point this is too embarrassing for for Sun Chen to go ahead and proceed on, and so he has to let the marriage actually happen. Empress Dowager Wu goes ahead and meets Xuande and is like, this is the husband for me. And Xuande is able to live another day. He then flees Wu with his wife, mainly because like the Sun Chen's people want to keep him there so that he could not do any more military campaigns. That fails because Xuande's new wife has a very sharp tongue. Then Cao Cao holds a banquet at his completed bronze bird's tower. That's a very biggest achievement for him. And then Ma Chao raises an army to get revenge against Wei. But then, against Wu and Shu Han. But Cao Cao not only he has to go ahead and escape, but then he shaves his beard, he shaves his cloak to look like a different person, and they're like, this is not Cao Cao, that is Shu. And that's it. That's it. Xuande then, one more thing that happens here is that Xuande goes ahead and proceeds to capture the state of Shu, and then he proceeds to create the Shu Han dynasty. That doesn't exactly happen yet, so I'll see you guys in the next set of summaries. I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter summary of 31 to 60, and I'll see you guys then. Bye bye!